Okay, so this is part 10 of my walkthrough of my Hex Flower Cookbook, which is a kind of guide to using Hex Flower game engines. Sort of things I've learned about them while making them. I've learned a few things since then as well, but this is I think it's pretty comprehensive and gives you a good idea of how you might be able to use these things. So I think when I last left off in part 9, I was doing this one here, looking at this kind of idea of a limited walk. You take 2 rolls and you generate a class, and then sorry, a race and then a class, for example. Okay, so we're getting towards the end here. So this is just a quick commentary on probability. So this is the navigation hex that I normally use or have typically used, which is just 2d6. If you roll 6, you go down that way. You move from the current hex straight down. If you roll an 8 or a 9, you go this way. Most probable event is a 12, rolling 2 6s. So here you go. This is the sort of general probability of traveling in a direction. As you can see, there's a trend that's mostly down and this way, so slightly this way. Of course, if you reverse the numbers, the trend would be up. I mean, you can make any way you want it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you did that, then there would be no way of instigating a stratifying the probability, say top to bottom. Again, there's nothing. If when you design your game engine, that is the idea you had in mind, that it didn't matter which direction you moved off, that would be fine. But I think it's much more satisfying to have an aim in mind and then stratify the probability to match that. And this is the second game in navigation hex I've been experimenting with, which is to use a d6 and a d8. And that's because it gives you, and the reason I set it up like this is it's more intuitive, like a clock face. This is using a d6 and a d8. So it's slightly less intuitive because it's not a clock face. It's not that difficult to fathom, but it's directly down navigation. The probability is directly down. There's not a slight trend this way. Also, I decided to put 9 in the middle, which means stay where you are, which I think is a neat little trick. I learned this from someone else. I've got if you like, my references later on, so hopefully we can touch on that at the end. And again, here's a picture of the probabilities. You see it's much more sort of symmetrical. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's nothing stopping you making any probability arrangement you like. You can do a percentile for all you like, you know. I talked about a little bit, I think in last time round I messed around with, I haven't published this, but I experimented with the idea of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 the navigation hex. The nice thing about that is it's actually hard to return to XUR without going in kind of a loop, because it's a bit like a chess piece, that moves in the L shape. You can't easily get back to where you are without taking several moves. Okay, so I guess we'll cover it off. So basically, here we go. I've sort of talked about, you know, what makes Hex Flowers good. I think they're compact, they're useful, very adaptable, and you can, as long as you have an idea of what you're trying to achieve, you can pretty much make a hex flower you like. So here are some summary points. Things to consider. You need to think about your navigation direction in your hex flower. Do you want the probability running from top to bottom? I'm not going to go over this. I'll let you look at it yourself. But needless to say, you can build in, stratify it, so that you set up the hex flower how you like, to sort of have which pieces should be next to each other, which events, and then you can have these gamey things like terminal events or hunter or selective navigation directions or 2 hex flowers, mobile terminal event, all that sort of stuff. So, I think these things are really neat, really fun. On my blog, you'll see that I have some hex flowers found in the wild where other people have made these things. So I really need to update it because I've seen some more really great things that people have done. So I should really recently I've seen a bar brawl, Red Dice Diaries blog. That's kind of a neat way of using it. Anyway, make one today. That's what I'll say, because I think they could be they're a neat little thing that you can try that just adds a little bit of a mini game to your game.